think that the people who are in charge of the world are not motivated by what most people think they're motivated by. I've had a lot of people who are semi-awake come to me and say, yeah, all this stuff, it's all about money, it's all about profit. And I sit there and say, okay, but I would actually feel a lot more comfortable with the world if it was as simple as money and profit. I think it's far more sinister than that. And I think it's truly about brutal power. And I'll say this because if you've had money long enough and you've truly had true money, it does get boring quickly. And I'll give you an example from a personal perspective. I grew up in a council estate in Luton. Now I'm a multimillionaire. Yeah, I love nice cars and et cetera, but you can only eat so many steaks and go to so many nice hotels. What most people who are searching for money are looking for is power. And if you're born into money, if you've had money since the day you were born, if you've never known poverty, if you've never been denied anything, a Ferrari is not going to make you happy. A nice meal is not going to make you happy. You've always had these things. The one thing that's going to make you happy is power. I don't think most people understand how humans are evolutionarily designed to want power. We're wired to want power. Men say, I want to be rich. You don't want to be rich. You want to be powerful. You want to be important. You want to be respected. This is the reason why men work their asses off in middle management jobs, underpaid, barely seeing their families, because at least when they're at work, they're respected. Men want respect. Men want power. And the people who are in charge of the world want more and more power. They don't care about profit. They don't care about money. They print the money. This is not about money. This is about just putting their foot on top of humanity and squashing it for nothing other than an ego trip. I really do believe it's about that. I believe they enjoyed things like vaccine passports simply to make us stay home so that when they don't stay home, it was a big joke. Ha ha ha. Look at them stuck in their house. I think they enjoyed it on that primal evil level. I think it's genuinely evil. I don't think it's anything to do with money. I think it's purely just power trip.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think that answers actually one of the questions that's often asked by people who are kind of just beginning to discover what's going on, but are still skeptical. And they say things like, yeah, but why is it in the interests of the elite to kill so many people or to do all this? Because surely they need us as workers, and surely they need a global economy which is producing lots of stuff. These people really are wedded to this vision of the world, which has been given them as children, fed them the idea that, yeah, everyone benefits from a strong economy. And they don't understand that we are run by fucking psychopaths.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole idea of an economy is something that they need to understand, they need to unplug from. An economy is for us peasants. Economies don't matter to the people who print the money. Economies don't matter for the people who manipulate stocks. Economies don't matter for the people who rig the elections. And none of that is real to them. They don't give a shit about the economy. You think these people are going to go broke if the stock market crashes? You think they're going to be poor? They're going to have anything they want all the time. They are so beyond money that the only time they can get any satisfaction from their life, the only time they can even feel alive, is with power trips. That's truly what it is. If I don't know how deep and how dark we're going to go down on this podcast, but even if you look at a lot of the disgusting things that are happening on islands around the world, I truly think that a lot of that is driven by the fact that not only is it disgusting and they're sexual deviants, but it's also about the fact that look what we can do that other people are not allowed to do. It's power. They just want to feel important and special. And money's not enough anymore. Money, if you're born with money, money does not make you feel important and special. They need something else to satisfy their disgustingly large demonic egos. And if that means locking everyone in their house so they can't see their grandma, so be it. And I say this to people and they say, no, surely that's too simple an explanation that the people in charge of the world are just power tripping. No, it's not too simple an explanation. That's exactly what is happening. When you tell a full-grown adult to wear a mask, go and walk and sit down in a restaurant, take it off, eat, stand up and put it back on to walk to go piss, and then walk back, take it off and sit down and eat. That's pure power game. That's nothing to do with science, nothing to do with saving lives. That's just ha ha ha. Look what the peasants will do on command. That's all it is. What else could it possibly be?
And isn't it amazing that the peasants largely did do it on command? None of them questioned this stuff. It's extraordinary.
It truly is extraordinary. And what's most extraordinary to me is that I keep reminding people of these things. Like I keep saying, don't you remember 3 months ago when they said if you didn't inject yourself with an unknown drug, you couldn't have food? It's only been 3 months. Okay, yeah, Putin's ended COVID, his new distraction, blah, blah, blah. But don't you remember what they did to you? I got invited recently to Australia. I said, I'm not going. And they said, why? I said, I won't go there ever again because they're communists and I'm not going to that country. And they're like, oh, but it's okay now. No, it's not okay now because all the members of law enforcement have proven the fact that if they're given the commands to crush their fellow man with basically no reason, that they'll do it. Yeah. So fuck them and fuck that country. I'm not going. I'm not going to Canada. I'm not going anywhere, these places. It's crazy. And all these people still have positions of power. And it's amazing to me that people are living their lives going, oh, yeah, everything's fine now, knowing that the police above them with one simple email will literally destroy their fellow man. They don't give a shit. It's incredible that not one police force stood up and said, no, enough of this junk. Yeah. It's like, it's absolutely out of control. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I have to say, I mean, apart from the fact that you're probably slightly better at handling yourself in a fight than me, this is like talking to myself because I don't find any of the stuff you are saying crazy or extreme. And yet, if we'd had this conversation 5 years ago, I think I would have thought you were basically a nutcase and that you were so out there that I wouldn't know really how to engage with you. Can I ask, how long have you? When did you wake up to this kind of stuff? Was it the last 2 years or before?
It was before that, but I won't lie that COVID really did kill my last hope in humanity because even before COVID, even though I was quite aware and quite awake of a lot of things that were happening, if you would have told me the COVID scenario, 2 years, a disease that nobody can basically see or feel. Everyone's fine on the street. It's the sniffle. They advertise the fact it's 99.9% survival. They won't let people see their own dying parents. You have to wear a mask. You have to take a vaccine that's more dangerous than the disease itself. That if you would have told me that before COVID, I would have said, no way. Surely that's too much. Yeah. But here we are, and they got away with it. It truly is absolutely incredible. And it's kind of been an interesting thought experiment for me, how you can extrapolate it to all other aspects of life, right? Because when I talk about the COVID scandemic, when I talk about it, I talk about how it applies to everything else. So recently I was talking to someone yesterday and they were talking about buying a house. And I said, why do you buy and you don't rent? He goes, I want to own a home. And I said, you don't own a home. And he goes, what do you mean you don't own it? I said, look at the Canadian truckers. They didn't take their vaccine. They got a fine for rebelling against the vaccine. They don't pay the fine, and then they escalate the fine, add more money to it. You don't pay that, and eventually, what do? They come for your assets. So you don't own a house. You think you own something until you annoy the government. You don't own that house. You don't own that land. You don't own your car. You don't own your children. You don't own any of it. Because as soon as you make them angry, as soon as you resist tyranny deep enough, they'll take it from you. So COVID woke me up to a bunch of things. Like I sold all my real estate. I was like, no, I no longer trust governments. I don't know which one's going to come along with some new authoritarian garbage, and I don't want to comply. And the first thing I'm going to do is come for my assets. So like for me, it's changed my entire worldview to the point now where I'm like, I don't trust governments. I don't trust real estate. I don't trust banks. I don't trust any of them. They're all the enemy. And once you wake up to that, it's kind of a dark realization. I think that's why a lot of people just say, I'll just wear the mask. I'll just wear the mask. Because it's cowardice, right? And it's easier.